I was clean and sober in Dallas for 4 years before we opened New York. That's the only reason I got to go to New York, because they knew I was doing the right thing. And then when we opened New York, you don't have to drive. The bars are open till 4. It's readily available, and everybody goes out, so how much trouble can you get in?
And what about the though? Makes it where you can drink more?
More like a crutch so that you don't get intoxicated as easily.
Proud of me, I'm proud of us, good news and great things. Just looking up, proud of you, proud of me.
Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today we're going to talk to somebody who runs a restaurant. You always told yourself, hey, I wish I could own a bar. I'd love to own a restaurant. Well, let's find out if that's true. Steve Barnhart, owner, proprietor, restaurateur, Prime 102. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Chad. Thank you for the invite.
Full disclosure, Prime 102 is my favorite restaurant in the city of Tyler.
Well, thank you.
And so I wanted to have you on there because I wanted to support you, and I think you got a product worth supporting.
Thank you for that.
And I think if people hear more about your background, they hear more about your experience, then they'll understand why the product you're putting out may be a little better than something that they're used to in these parts, if you will.
Well, thank you.
Reading up on your bio, it looks like you were involved or worked in steakhouse or restaurant business from a pretty early age. Is that right?
Since the age of 12, yes.
How did you come about, or how did you come to work in a restaurant at age 12?
Well, at the age of 12, my mother and I say my father left, and my mother had 3 children to support, and she worked part-time at a restaurant on Greenville Avenue called Kirby's Steakhouse that my grandmother helped open with B.J. Kirby back in the late or early 40s. And I started bussing tables and bar backing and all that good stuff at the age of 12. So that's how I began my restaurant journey.
I mean, was it basically, you're telling me your mother was a single mother?
My mother was a single mother. My father left when I was 12. She hadn't worked, and she went into the banking business and worked part-time in the restaurant business on weekends. So.
And you soon followed because you were curious, wanted to be with your grandmother, or because you needed to make money?
I needed to pay for school clothes. It's real simple.
All right. So
economics.
People look at you now, but you've pretty much been working most of your life. Is that right?
Yes, all of my life.
You say the 40s. The steakhouse business has really exploded through the last 30, 40 years, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean,
and in Texas, we're better, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a steakhouse, in Dallas, Houston, they're everywhere, right? I mean, it's one of the main restaurants it seems to open all the time.
It's a staple.
Now, you probably know these type of figures. How many restaurants open and ultimately will close and not make it?
Most restaurants close within the first 6 months of opening.
All right. So that's a good sign for...
it's not easy.
Especially if you happen to open up during COVID, which we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about life, in the 80s on Lower Greenville Avenue at Kirby's Steakhouse.
It was a lot of fun.
What's going on down there?
Well, you had the Fast and Cool Club across the street. You had the Blue Goose opened in the mid-'80s down on Lower Greenville. You had All Shucks. There's a lot going on. You had Star Club down in the West End. You had the West End opening up in the 80s, so there was a lot going on.
Now, from what I've read, I think, Kirby's eventually closed in Greenville in 1987.
B.J. Kirby sold it and then passed away a few years later, and his neighbor, Jim, his neighbor Jim and his brother John bought it. John had worked at Morton's downtown, and Jim, his neighbor, was oil and gas, and they reopened it.
Now, I'm assuming you worked there through the years and maybe moved up in some of the jobs you did there?
I worked there in, I guess, basically junior high. In 9th grade. I started sacking groceries after that, and then went back in the restaurant business right after high school at Spaghetti Warehouse down in the West End.
All right. So you really didn't learn anything about the restaurant business at Kirby's, would you say?
I learned that it was profitable, and it was something that you could do on nights and weekends to earn extra money.
Well, how about this? I mean, people always say, well, your margins are better on the food or the alcohol?
Alcohol for sure.
Okay, so that's not even a question?
Correct.
Yeah, because some people say, hey, I've seen that same bottle of wine at the grocery store, for quite a bit less. Yeah.
And margins are shrinking because now everybody sees what it costs, and they really don't want to pay it, which I don't blame them.
Right, but I mean, you pay for, food, ingredients, atmosphere.
You pay for the experience, you pay for it. I mean, that's like people have food trucks and people that have brick and mortar don't like food trucks because they don't have the overhead that a brick and mortar restaurant has, because you have the insurance, you have all the utility costs, the rents, payroll, taxes. People don't realize everything that goes into it, from the linen, the napkin that goes on the table. It's just so many expenses in it.
And they add up.
Correct.
And you've got to usually meet the rent or the mortgage first and then get into those before there's any profit for you.
Correct.
Now, as far as the restaurant bar business, it's always seemed to me that chefs and people like that were always somewhat heavy drinkers. Has that been your experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they say, being a product of the 80s, alcohol and cocaine kind of fueled the restaurant bar business. And an old saying, work hard, play hard. So that's pretty much what everyone did.
And I know a little about your story, and eventually that caught up to you, didn't it?
Correct.
Correct. Tell us what you want to share about, your journey with addiction, with alcohol, drugs.
I bounced in and out of AA for 25 years. I've been sober, as you know, just over 6 years. I had a hard time admitting that I was an alcoholic because, I didn't drink every day. I wasn't one that woke up and had the shakes and had to have a drink. It was more of a binge drinking thing, or get off after work and then go out. For me, I would stop drinking to get all the heat off of my back, and then I'd go back to work. I didn't drink when I was at work. It was always after work. I had been clean and sober for 4 years before I was with the Frisco Steakhouse for 14 years. I was clean and sober in Dallas for 4 years before we opened New York. That's the only reason I got to go to New York, because they knew I was doing the right thing. And then when we opened New York,
you moved back
to New York, you don't have to drive. The bars are open till 4. It's readily available, and everybody goes out, so how much trouble can you get in? So I continued with the journey.
And what about the cocaine, though? Cocaine makes it where you can drink more?
More like a crutch, so that you don't get intoxicated as easily and can drink harder, longer, faster, yes.
Do you think it was the cocaine? You said you were a binge drinker, didn't drink every day. Do you think it was the cocaine really that caused you to seek help or get clean?
Yeah, because that just kind of makes it a lot worse. Yeah.
Plus, you can't really be a cocaine addict and drink, can you?
No. You can for a little while. You can be there's several functioning alcoholics out there, and probably some cocaine addicts as well, but it didn't work very well for me. I can only speak from my experience on that.
Right. I would just think it might, be a slippery slope back to it.
Oh, yeah.
And the restaurant business and bar business, to me, seems to be such a place of temptation for a guy who's trying to stay sober and clean. Is it?
Yeah, it is, because you're around it. And it's still, for this alcoholic, it was surrendering completely, not just alcohol, surrendering everything to God, to where I'm clean and sober and free of it, It's kind of difficult to explain.
Right. If people don't know, you eventually went to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bounced in and out of AA for 25 years before I actually surrendered.
People have always heard of the 12-step program. Is that something that you followed?
Recommended highly.
And you mentioned God, and I think that God is part of the 12-step program, is he not?
Absolutely.
I don't know the program myself. Yeah. But let us, give us an indication as to how they encourage people to bring faith into helping them recover.
For me, the main thing is, as an alcoholic, it's all about selfishness and self-centered and only thinking of yourself. So until you surrender to something else, be it a higher power, I had a first sponsor said I didn't care what it was as long as it's not you. It could be a doorknob. I was raised Southern Baptist, and I finally got back to my Christian roots and go to Green Acres here and all that. But until I surrendered everything, I couldn't quit.
And it's almost like, the call, the Christian call, if you will, I surrender all, you hear the church hymns, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess those two kind of things go together.
Right. Well, AA was founded, I believe, by the Oxford Group, which was a Christian organization back in the day.
Do you still go to meetings?
I do.
Do you find them helpful to have support?
Absolutely.
I'm sure you got a sponsor, somebody you can call.
Sponsor and sponsors. The whole thing is, that old saying, you can't keep it if you don't give it away. You got to help someone else if you want to stay clean and sober. That's what it's all about. Doing stuff for other people, just like you. Let's go back to the restaurant business. The reason I think the restaurants that I've been a part of that have been successful is because we have a saying, we do things for the guest, not to the guest. And that's kind of how we try to live our lives. We do things for other people instead of taking me, I. That's how you get a rapport with the guests where they trust you to guide them through a great dining experience and not take them out of their comfort zone, then they come back and see you. I mean, we're in a town of 100,000, 200,000 surrounding. It's not like being in New York City with Del Frisco's with 8 million people. You want them to keep coming back. I don't care if it comes back for your birthday or anniversary twice a year or twice a week. Just put us on your rotation and come back and see us. And you get that by doing things for the guest and not to the guest, you know.
Well, that's a good
Give
philosophy.
them the experience, but don't take them out of the comfort zone.
Well, I mean, you know, my dad always used to say pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, right? And I think you can apply that to any business owner, any person in the service industry, right?
Correct.
People feel like they're being taken advantage of or something's pushed on them they really don't want.
Correct. Yeah.
And, you know, your place is, you know, and I don't want to talk about Prime 102 just yet because we're going to get to that. But let's talk about, you know, your experience at Del Frisco's in New York.
Okay.
I'm sure I've looked at it on a map. I mean,
highest grossing restaurant in the country. It was doing $39 million a year in sales.
It's close to Rockefeller Center?
Rock Center, 49th and 6th. It's in the McGraw-Hill building.
What did you do for Del Frisco's in New York?
I was sent up there. I was supposed to be there 6 to 8 weeks to open the restaurant, train the front of the house staff. And they asked me to stay on. I was there for 8.5, almost 9 years, and went into management and was in charge of all the controllables and all that stuff to make sure we hit our bonuses and all that. But mainly just taking care of the guests. People always ask me, how do you go from Texas to New York? We're very similar. We both think we're the center of the universe. You have the Empire State and the Lone Star State. The only difference is a Texan will worry about hurting your feelings, where in New York, he'll tell you exactly what they paid. I like to know where I stand, so it worked out fine. But I would get people that would high-five me at the upstairs bar saying, don't ever change, because New York was not used to the hospitality that we brought. And that's why they were so successful, because we smiled and other people just crusty old servers, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is this where you really learned the nuts and bolts of how to run a restaurant?
Yeah, I had a great mentor, Jamie Coulter. He bought Del Frisco's, I guess 96 maybe. And when I was with Del Frisco's started out as independent with Del Wamstadt and D. Lincoln. And then Jamie Coulter bought us, and D. Lincoln stayed on, and Del went and opened Three Forks and some other restaurants. And with Jamie, we had the structure of all the business. We would fly to Wichita, Kansas every 28 days to go over the numbers for the restaurants. I mean, you were held accountable for everything, where before it was just it wasn't that it was loose, but Dale took care of everything. But that's how we learned the ins and outs of the restaurant business. They say this, if you can't measure it, you can't management.
Yeah.
You can't manage it, you know? Yeah.
Well, okay, so you spend 14 years total with Del Frisco's, and is that referred to as the Double Eagle Steakhouse?
Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. And it went by Del Frisco's only until they opened the grill and made it Del Frisco's Grill, and they tried to differentiate between the two to where it became Del Frisco's Double Eagle, or Del Frisco's Grill and Double Eagle. That was kind of a mistake as far as I'm concerned, but that was when I left in 2009. So now they don't really know what they are, but they've been bought. We were bought and sold 3 times when I was up in New York.
But, you know, the product that's being put to the public, let's say in Uptown, you know, on McKinney.
Right.
There's a Del Frisco's Double Eagle there. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to that one?
I have. I believe you and I know the same bartender. You've been with us for years. That's the beautiful thing about the steakhouse business, where it's a very small, tight-knit community, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, first time I got to know the bartender, I think it was Mike.
Mike Rosick, yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy.
And
Dan Hart.
Found out I was from Tyler, and he was like, hey, you know Steve?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Barnhart? He goes, yeah. He goes, he used to work for us for 14 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was wild. But he said he didn't know where you went initially. You kind of just went away.
Right.
And I don't know if that was,
a lot of people wondered where I went. They wondered if I was still alive. So,
yeah. Well, maybe that was one of those tough periods in your life.
Yeah, it happened.
But, you know, you went to Philadelphia as well.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you spend in Philadelphia?
Just a few months opening the restaurant. I left New York in summer of 2008, and then towards the fall of 2008, they asked me to come back and open one in Philadelphia. So I was in Philly for the opening.
On your resume, I see that you'd done something when they reopened the Tavern on the Green.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I had moved back to Dallas, and our banquet coordinator at Del Frisco's New York had gone to work at Tavern on the Green. They had reopened, and the 2 guys that opened it were from Philadelphia and had never taken on a task that large. So they asked Heather if she knew anyone that could come help them, and she mentioned my name, and I went up and interviewed with them, Jim and David, and they invited me to come be a part of it. So that was a great experience.
You bounced around between then and ultimately opening Prime 102 in 2020.
Correct.
One of those bouncing around places is a favorite of mine, and that was Toulouse.
Toulouse, yeah.
Tell us how you got
Mr.
into
Lombardi, great guy. I was living over off Lower Greenville in Henderson, and went over and applied for a job, and he hired me on. I was operations director there. Serge runs the place, great chef. It was an awesome experience.
I mean, it's very consistent, right?
Yes, yeah. And that's the key for restaurants, consistent product. Just like Gilda McDonald's may not be the best, but you always know what you're going to get. So,
I've told people that. It's funny you use the word consistent. I have told people that if I go to Prime 102 and order the same 8-ounce filet that it's always the same.
I hope so. If you order medium rare, let it come out medium rare.
I mean, it's always the same. And so, have you found that people have echoed that sentiment that the consistency at Prime 102 has really drawn them back to the restaurant multiple times?
I've heard that, yes. So thank you for mentioning it.
No, I mean, it's not even meant to be a compliment so much as it is me saying how I actually feel about it. Because, I like steak. I like steakhouses.
Right.
I like bars.
Well,
I mean,
my old mentor, Jamie Coulter, that's what I always said, consistency breeds credibility. So that's what we shoot for every day.
All right. So tell us what leads you to Tyler, Texas.
Well, that's kind of funny. I had opened the Lincoln Prime in Frisco. I had worked for her brother, Ricky Commodell, who's in the offshore living quarters business, but he was
man camps out in Permian Basin.
Correct. He asked me to come out. They were having trouble getting people to stay at the camps because they would leave for an extra $1 an hour to go to the next one, so they wanted to elevate the food. So he was opening 2 lodges for Shell. I was staying in Kermit, Texas. The lodges were in Mentone and Barstow, and we just put out a great food product, kept the guys fat and happy. So that was West Texas. And it's funny, I had come back to Dallas from Tavern on the Green. Had a little restaurant in Winsboro, the Rooster Cafe, which was more of something to do before I found another job, worked for someone else, which I kind of liked working for myself, though. Met a young lady that was going to nursing school in Tyler, Texas.
What was her name?
Her name was Timber, but that didn't work out. But everything else would work. Tyler.
No, okay, but sometimes it is a woman that gets you.
Correct, which is a good thing. That's how I ended up in Tyler, so where I met my wife, and that's got Prime 102. Tyler just happened to be halfway between the office in Houma, Louisiana, and Kermit, Texas. It's 7 hours, 20 minutes either direction. So that's how I ended up buying a house in Tyler and being a part of the Tyler community.
But when you first bought a house here, you were still working.
I was still driving to West Texas. Yeah, 7 hour, 20-minute commute.
All right, and you picked Tyler just strictly because of its proximity.
And Dallas, Lower Greenville, the M Streets, Lakewood area. I found a house that was for sale by owner on Chilton. Reminded me of the M Streets. Called about it. That was for sale. I told him I would take it. He said, it's not ready to show. I said, it doesn't matter. I want to buy it anyway. And eventually he sold it to me. And that's how I ended up at the house on Chilton.
Had you been single all your life up to this point?
Waited till I was 53 years old to get married, correct.
So
restaurant bar business, it's not easy to have a great relationship, you know what I mean?
Right, because
you work nights, holidays, weekends, and yes, there may be some alcohol involved and some other stuff, curricular activities. And that's funny. My wife asked me one time, she said, have you ever been on a dating app? I'm like, I'm in the restaurant bar business. Why would I ever want to need to be on a dating app? So
yeah, that's okay. So you had some money saved, maybe because you hadn't been married, you hadn't had kids.
No, I'm alcohol, cocaine. I didn't have any money saved.
All right. So you cobbled together the money to put a down payment down on the house on Chilton,
correct,
to live there because you like the area.
Yeah.
All right. And so when does this idea of a restaurant in Tyler start to get in your head?
Well, I was actually in talks to go back with Del Frisco's to help them with the restaurant in Boston that was having problems. And I had a friend that asked me if I had ever met Andy Bergfeld. I'm like, no, I know the name, but I've never met him.
Bergfeld Realty.
Right. I knew Bergfeld Park around the corner from the house.
Right.
And
you knew they must be somebody good to me,
yeah,
right? If they got a park.
Correct. So he said, I would need you to meet him. There may be an opportunity to put a restaurant downtown Tyler. I'm like, okay. So I went and looked at it, and it was Jack Ryan's at the time.
That's what I was going to ask.
During COVID, and
but
Jack
it was closed?
Ryan's they were closing because of COVID.
Okay.
So they needed someone to take it over. And
because they had already renovated this place, right?
Put the two brother chefs in there. They had one, I think, in
Yeah.
between here and Longview.
Yeah, they were in Kilgore.
Kilgore, correct. And then they had the one downtown.
And you know, it was a beautiful restaurant when it
it's a
opened. I mean,
beautiful
people were
building.
just, it
Yeah.
looked like, wow, I can't believe
Correct.
this is here.
Yeah, it's an old Art Deco building built in 1932. It's beautiful. It reminds me of something in New York City. When you walk up the stairs from the marbling, they did a great job renovating.
And
Mr. Brookshire.
They did not, you did some renovations yourself to open it, right?
Correct.
And
we reconfigured the kitchen, took out a wall, opened some spaces up, put a bar in they had a private dining room, we put a bar on the main level instead of just upstairs in the mezzanine.
Right.
So, yeah.
There's
made it a little more functional.
There's one thing that you did that I really liked. I never liked steaks cooked in a bag.
Sous vide.
Right.
It's great if you're cooking for a hotel or a big banquet, but correct.
I mean, you know,
you can do a lot of great things with sous vide, but I wouldn't do a steak with it, especially being from Texas.
I'm just more a fan of the seared, you know, as opposed to the soggy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a seared versus a soggy guy.
Ruth Fertel had a broiler that they came out with, the Montague, which was an 1800-degree broiler cooked from the top down, so it sears in the flavors and not from the bottom where the juices come out. And they had it patent for a while, and then they lost the patent, and other people do it now. So that's what we use to cook our steaks with. That's what Del Frisco's uses. Most high-end steak houses use those now.
Okay, so from the
just puts out a better product. It's not something you can do at home.
Right, but it also, like you said earlier, it puts out a very consistent product.
Correct.
And I'm assuming it costs money to buy this machine.
Yes, about $24,000 oven. Yeah.
Okay, and people need to know that. Like, you know, when they come in, they go, "Hey, you know, why is my steak $50 as opposed to this much?" Right. And you can say, "Well,
one, it's prime, top 2% of the beef you can get. Two, the process that we go through to make it perfect for you."
And I've put we got your logo up here, so we can talk about it. You know, do you have the name in your mind, or do you cut the deal with the landlord? Which is first? I mean,
the name in the mind with this one, and most people don't realize this, prime is prime top tier steak,
right?
But that's not why it was called prime. If we go back to the A thing, we can think about stuff, we can talk about stuff, until we actually do something, it's irrelevant. Prime is what you prime the pump to get stuff going again.
Right.
During COVID, nothing was going. We opened to get stuff going again.
All right, so it was kind of a double entendre. It was a word that meant two things.
Two things, correct. And the 102 is just the address.
Right.
102 North College Hill.
Right, but I mean, I think that's interesting because, like you said, you know, you think about priming the economy back after COVID. At the same time, prime is the top tier steak that you'd be serving.
Correct.
So I guess Jack Ryan's is leaving, and I'm sure Bergfeld, Brookshire, whoever wants to keep a restaurant there, do they?
Correct. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I think they wanted it for the tenants in the building and keep downtown going. Correct.
I mean, how did you even know? Somebody just knew that you were in the restaurant business from before and said, "Hey, you might ought to talk to Bergfeld."
Andy and I have a mutual friend.
Okay.
Correct.
And so, because Andy went to SMU in Dallas, I don't know.
Football at SMU. Yeah.
Who did?
Andy played football at SMU.
Right. That's right. He was 2 years younger than me, my brother's age, and I've known him my entire life.
Yeah. Good guy.
Yes. And he's done well.
Yeah.
He's done well to help develop downtown as much as he's done anything. Right. The Greyhound Inn.
Greyhound's beautiful. Correct. I love the fact that they keep the old architecture intact and actually bringing it back, you know, so it's awesome.
Well, let's talk about, you know, your restaurant. Okay. You finally, and this is kind of
just another thing, you know, we call it God's restaurant. I just get to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's basically the thankfulness for where you are today versus where you might have been 7 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
Now, this beautiful building that we've talked about has granite and all this stuff that you could never build today.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct. It costs you a fortune.
For people who haven't been there, this is the stairway that you will walk up to, right, to enter the restaurant.
Yes.
You're looking good, a little shorter hair there, a little different haircut. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you've lost a little weight. I don't know.
A bit.
Are you doing anything different? Are you exercising, eating different?
I try not to eat as late, and I try not to eat as many fried food items. So.
Yeah, I know French fries are tough, aren't they?
It's tough. You got quality control.
Yeah, and not to get to the menu yet because we're going to, but it seems like you guys make your own chips or something.
Correct. We try to make everything that we can in-house. So
I mean, and that's just a smart business thing because it saves you money, right?
Hopefully it saves you money, you put out a better product, and it's not something everyone can do. So, yeah.
So you're at 102 North College, and this building is referred to as what?
That's People's Petroleum Building.
Back in the heyday, right?
Built in 1932. It's a great Art Deco building. I believe it was designed by an architectural firm out of Houston, and it was supposed to go to New York, which is pretty interesting. Then because of the Great Depression and a gentleman that hit oil in East Texas, ended up in Tyler, Texas.
And
So,
and you're the beneficiary of this spot.
it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the struggles of COVID and opening a restaurant, what are the challenges of opening a restaurant? You've said if you don't last 6 months,
Staffing and training and consistency. And it's another thing that's kind of funny. Out in East Texas, it's not always easy to get product like it is in Dallas or any of the big cities. That's why you'll have people say, well, that costs more, or it costs the same here as it does in Dallas. I'm like, well, it's not any easier to get product out here. So
I mean, whether it be seafood,
correct.
I mean, we're kind of in a weird
from
spot.
the East Coast, or maybe cold water Australian lobster tails off the coast. So Chilean sea bass. I mean, stuff comes from all over the place. So, yeah,
it's much harder to get product here.
Correct.
All right. So the challenges in East Texas would probably be there weren't as many people that were used to maybe high end serving as servers.
Right. That's true. But I like training someone the proper way rather than hiring someone that bring bad habits or think they know. Instead of, I have a saying, we do it with us, not for us. So
have you had pretty good retention with
we have great retention of people with it. I mean, it'll be we've had the lease for 5 years. It'll be 5 years open in February. And I have several people that have been with us from day one.
What about the chef?
Chef Jessica, she's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So
she's the sweetest.
Now,
I brought Terry White, my opening chef from Del Frisco's, opened New York with me, came to Tyler to open Prime 102 and show Jess all the menus, items, and set the standards. So,
I mean, one of the hardest things I've seen for restaurants in Tyler is how difficult it is to open without there being maybe poor service. The food's they hadn't figured it all out. People get a bad experience and then their impression is set. Were you worried about that?
I was hoping we got it right the first time.
Right, but I mean, you
only get one chance to make a good first impression.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Right? I mean, if you go up there and they go, oh man, this is,
Well, here's what I try to tell people. If you have an issue or something's not right, let us know. I mean, we'll fix it. If I can't fix it, I promise you're not going to pay for it. We want you to come in and have a great experience. One of the most frustrating things for a restaurant owner is someone that has a great experience, says they had everything great, and then goes and leaves a bad review. Why did you let me fix it while you're here?
Well, because they knew you wouldn't take care of business. Just like that bad review they left on me.
I don't bring that up.
I mean, full disclosure. I'm sorry.
Children should not be in the bar.
That was my only thing. I was like, it was in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 kids screaming nonstop, and I simply said, which I thought was funny,
Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey, why don't you take them to Chuck E. Cheese?
Correct.
And
that offended them.
And the man didn't say one word to me.
Yeah.
The woman came over and asked me if I had a problem. I was like, a little bit. And then they left a review. He did, and he'd never said one word to me.
Right.
But luckily, other people have reviewed them on out.
Correct. It happens.
But I mean, I helped set policy going forward.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And I mean, I think it's a good policy.
Right.
You don't need 5-year-olds in a bar.
Right.
That's exclusively a bar.
Correct.
I think. Now, I mean, I know when you're trying to make a living, you do a lot of things, right? And that's one of the things that aggravates me about the Grove. Yeah. The Grove has a sign outside the bar that says, no kids allowed. Sometimes you go in there, they're full of kids. And I'm like,
try to keep the place. There's an old saying too: the most expensive thing in a restaurant is an empty seat.
Yeah.
So you want to try to keep them.
I try to feel for that, right? I'm like, man, my kids are grown. I mean, I'm not trying to raise kids again, right? I mean, we're finally free. But I understand, the push and pull of, like you said, an empty seat.
Yeah.
Versus making somebody happy and maybe they come back without the kids.
Right.
All right, so here comes COVID. I mean, it seems like the craziest time in the world for a guy to say, hey, I'm going to open up a restaurant in downtown Tyler, and it's going to be a high-end steakhouse. Right?
You're right.
Now, I'm sure the other guys, the landlord, I'm sure those people were cheering you on.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want,
supportive.
Right?
Yeah, great relationship.
And I know from knowing you that they provided a lot of financial support and help for this to happen. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah, correct.
But ultimately, y'all cut a deal, restaurant opened. And were you the owner yourself, or were you married at the time, or when did Perry come in the picture?
We got married after we opened the restaurant.
All right. Because, I mean, Perry is a fixture if you come to Prom 102.
She's the face of Prom 102. Absolutely.
The minute
she tries to keep me in the back in the kitchen, just make sure all the food comes out properly.
The minute you walk up those stairs, I mean, people don't know this if they don't know it's your wife. She works as the hostess in the restaurant, and I've never been there and not seen her, right?
She does all the large parties, the banquets, and all that stuff as well.
And she supports you.
Correct.
I mean, and I know how that feels. My wife works in our business and does about 3 jobs, and it'd be difficult to hire somebody as good as Perry, I'm betting.
Right.
And you know what's good about...
She's fully vested, yes. So,
right. Yeah. If you can work with your spouse, and some people can't,
right.
The best thing about it, I think, is that they understand the pressures and the things that are going on, right? Because they're there at office or there at the restaurant.
Yeah. Well, being a guy, you go home at the end of the night or at work or whatever, and your wife asks you, how was your day? You don't want to talk about it. She knows because she's seen it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, so, you seem to be in the sharing mood. So let's talk about, how did you meet Perry?
Okay. I met Perry at PATH.
People attempting to help
in Tyler that was handing out groceries during COVID for people that couldn't afford or get food products. So
most people know PATH in Tyler.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a charity that provides,
Are you trying to get into the story how I ended up at PATH?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, you've brought us there.
Right.
Now, for some reason, you're there working at PATH.
Right.
Can you tell us why you were there?
Yeah. Well, originally I went to PATH because I'd gotten in trouble in West Texas and I needed to do a little community service.
All right. And you picked a great place.
I did. And I loved it so much. After I finished my community service, I stayed on as a volunteer. And my wife was working with Liz at Rose Festival.
Liz Ballard. I know. I'm going to have Liz on the show.
Oh, awesome.
I've talked to her.
Yeah, that'd be good.
No, she'd be a great guest. Yeah. All right.
They wanted to have the kids in the Rose Festival help pass out groceries at PATH, but the parents didn't want the kids being down there. So Liz and Perry came down and volunteered to pass out groceries. So we met and had our masks on and,
I hated that time.
And she had actually asked me, are you doing community service or are you volunteering? I said, I'm volunteering.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then after she and I had gone out a few times, I said, if you'd asked me 2 weeks earlier, I'd have been doing community service. So.
I mean, because you seem like a great guy. You're just down there volunteering for the community. She's going, now you say you've never been married. You have no children. Now, Steve, where have you been?
Yeah.
But, I know you feel thankful because I know you. That you met her.
Well,
y'all got married.
All this is a God thing. I mean, during COVID, meet my wife, open a restaurant, and I go from being single with a dog to married with 3 kids, 3 dogs, 2 cats, and 34 employees.
And
that's all God. That has nothing to do with me except suiting up and showing up.
And the continued sobriety that is ridden along with that, right?
Correct.
Do you find that Perry, in your life, that she's very supportive of, continuation of sobriety?
Yeah, she'll tell me when she thinks I need to go to a meeting.
All right. Yeah, because, for people who don't know,
right.
We wouldn't know what that looks like. Like maybe you're getting quiet, maybe you're not, you don't have the same disposition.
Fuse may get a little shorter.
All right.
Yeah.
You get a little aggravated.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just decompression at the meetings where you just let things off your chest?
Just where you can talk about stuff, correct. Yeah.
With people that totally understand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the things you did, you mentioned earlier, you reconfigured the restaurant from what people knew. And the corner bar, believe it or not,
I believe you were seated right here and the kids were over here.
That's right. For the record, me and all my kids and my wife, we were at that far table right there, and they were directly across from us.
Correct.
Just so everybody understands how aggravating that was.
Yes.
But in any event, you changed this to what's called the corner bar.
Corner bar. That was a private dining room that we turned into the corner bar. Something that I wanted to do. When you walk up the stairs, the restaurant's a little intimidating.
Right. It's 2-story.
It's awesome.
It's open.
It's a little intimidating. So I wanted to put a little more casual spin on a bar in there that you didn't have a reservation. It's first come, first serve, a little more casual menu. You can still order off the dinner menu or the lunch menu at lunch, but it still has the corner bar menu to make it more warm, welcome, and inviting for anybody walking in off the streets, flip-flops, blue jeans, ball cap.
It's funny you say that. The other day when I went to lunch over there, I saw some guys. They clearly were workers. They, had on, clothing like they had been doing something manual.
Right.
They came in, they turned the corner, and went straight into the corner bar.
Correct. They don't even ask.
Right. I mean, and and they didn't meet any resistance or questions from people saying, "Hey, there's a dress code here or whatever."
Yeah.
But it is lunch, right? And but the dining room itself is super nice for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You've done some renovations more recently to the booth area.
Yeah.
I thought
We covered the booth, red velvet's gorgeous.
The booths are those one of those things that people request, for wedding anniversaries as opposed to sitting out in the tables?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, speaking of kids, since we recovered them, we don't let kids in the booths either.
Right. I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, that's the policy you should have had.
Right.
I mean, before I came through. Your dining room capacity, I've never really asked, and it's hard to tell what it is.
222 seats.
All right. You got 220.
Well, that's what the fire marshal says we can.
In the dining room that's downstairs?
All of it.
Including the corner
the
bar?
mezzanine and the corner bar.
How about the private dining room that looks out on the square?
Oh, yeah, the Liberty Room.
You call that the Liberty Room?
It seats 16 comfortably.
All right. And that's going to be, it's already a great spot, but that's going to be a really great spot.
Once the square's done, it'll be awesome.
Looking out there.
Yeah. Right now, it's an observation deck to see all the construction going on down there.
Yeah. And I know you guys are troopers down there during the construction. It's hard on you guys.
It's difficult, but we'll make it.
Upstairs, there's kind of an upstairs bar and seating, but it doesn't seem like that's really open all the time. Is that right?
It's mainly for private events, Christmas parties. We do a lot of pharmaceutical events up there as well.
Corporate events, I guess you'd call it. So is that a good part of the business throughout the year?
It's awesome. We love the fact that we have UT Health here, Christus here, the universities. I mean, they do a lot of the recruitment dinners in there, a lot of celebratory dinners in there.
I mean, we've got the medical school kind of ramping up.
Correct. Yeah, we do medical devices dinners in there now. They bring the doctors in to go over the medical devices. So,
I mean, the whole
pharmaceuticals.
I've had Don Warren, the mayor, on the podcast, and Don has talked about his, passion for that downtown 4-star hotel.
Yeah.
Right. And
the group.
Yeah, the interest rates may be getting in the way right now or something.
I think they have it done.
Do they?
Yeah, the Blackstone, I believe is the name of it.
They're going to call it the Blackstone. Kind of, again, a tip of the hat to old Tyler.
Correct.
But
it's going to be a game changer for downtown.
I think it is too. And I know you're looking forward to all the guests that could be there and a walk across the grassy, it'll be the grassy area.
Right. Yeah, the green space.
Fighting, looking for Shorty the squirrel.
That's correct. He's been relocated. I don't know where Don put him, but he's been relocated.
Don said there will be a plaque.
Okay, good.
That marks it. All right, let's knowing you like I do and being interested in restaurants and bars because I like them. I think they're peaceful to me. I guess as a lawyer who's always revved up and just kind of calm down. That's why the kids was bothering me so much.
Understood.
But meeting Mike over at Del Frisco's, he was like, "Hey, Chad, you ought to try this VIP."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's a VIP?"
Vodka infused pineapple.
There it is.
Came up with that when we opened New York.
All right. And so I was kind of surprised.
It's the Yellow Rose in Tyler.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Here's a picture of it. It's called the Yellow Rose, but it's the same pineapple infused.
We use a nicer vodka. We use Tito's with the Dole pineapple. The Capitol Grill came up with that. It used to be called the Stoli Doli, or still is at Capitol Grill. It is. Then it was a VIP with Del Frisco's. I had it at the Rock and Rooster at the Rooster Cafe. It's the Yellow Rose in Tyler.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty tasty drink.
Yes, you got to be careful though.
I mean,
can't taste the vodka.
You can't.
The pineapple, the sugar.
I mean, knowing you, Steve, you're probably putting only a little in there.
You get what you get.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's turn to the question of, it is a steakhouse. You sound like a guy who would probably try to locate good meat. Mm-hmm. Where do you source your beef from?
We actually get our meat of a independent butcher out of Chicago called Purely Meats. They ship it to us every Sunday. Comes on a truck, fresh, never frozen. We cut our strips and our ribeyes in-house. The long bones and that they cut there for us. But it's a great product.
Well, that's
independent. Everybody, I mean, I don't want to say any names. Well, everybody's been bought and they're all big conglomerates now.
Right.
We still have a true independent. So they give us a good, great, consistent product. And Very happy with them.
I mean, and that's pretty interesting, that you can tell people that it's never been frozen.
Correct.
And you get a new supply every week.
Correct.
Have you kind of figured out, what your steak count is going to be, or have you gotten kind of honed your order to where you know what to order?
We have pars that we keep, and then we ramp those up during the holidays. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Prime 102, and obviously the name and the type of is that somehow related to the steaks that are bought?
Steaks are prime beef.
And for us, people that go to the grocery store very seldom and pick out steaks, it says choice, it says top sirloin, it says prime.
Choice, top, above, yeah.
I mean, what's the hierarchy? I mean, let me know. I'm not the steak
edible.
Man. Yeah.
You have prime and everything else is in between. Then you have the Japanese Kobe Wagyu.
Right, I know that one.
High-end stuff. So we have that as well. It's because of the marbling and the color, and that's how it's graded. A lot of people talk about consistency. Would I love to have a local independent that could produce prime beef in the quantity that we need here? Yes. But it's hard to do that with the volume that we do.
Yeah.
And most independents don't have someone that comes in and grades their beef for them. You don't have the USDA inspector going over their products, grading it as prime, top 2%.
The only guy I know is Scott Herod in that cut beef. I have no idea what the operation is. I just know he's in it.
Yeah.
He's got a little store.
Great guy. Yeah.
I don't know if they sell enough or have enough to supply somebody.
His business model is geared more towards the individual. He supplies some restaurants around Tyler, but mostly individuals.
All right. Let's look at that tomahawk steak.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I'm glad Chris put this up. Yeah, I want to talk about the 10 burgers. Most people order this in the corner bar, don't they?
You get that in the corner bar, and you get that in the dining room at lunch.
Tell us the story behind why you called it a 10 burger.
Yes, the 10th president is John Tyler, and we're in the lovely city of Tyler, Texas.
Now, did you get that kind of idea from another restaurant?
I got the grind from another restaurant. That grind of brisket, short rib, and chuck came from Tavern on the Green. So they have this old saying, imitation of the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah.
We took it, tweaked it, made it our own. So
what are you, when you say the grind, what are you talking about?
The meat in that burger is a blend of brisket, short rib, and chuck that we ground, that we blend in-house for that burger.
All right.
So that's a great flavor profile and texture that's not your run-of-the-mill burger grind.
Is that an onion ring? What is that?
Those are frizzled onions, which are battered and fried onions on top. Little tomato, arugula, little tin sauce. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Do y'all make any of this stuff?
We do all that in-house.
Everything?
The buns I get from Fresh at Brookshire's twice a week.
I mean, they got good buns?
Correct.
They are good buns.
They're great buns. It's the onion roll. And with the volume and the space we have, with the one double convection oven, we do all the desserts in the restaurant, the cakes and all that. I don't have time to do the buns and the bread that we serve to our guests at the restaurant. We do the bread, but not the buns at the restaurant.
Well, this 10 burger, is this a meal? Is this just a burger by itself? How is this, priced and sold?
That's, I believe, $18 with the fries. It's a half a pound of meat. Enjoy it.
All right. So that's that's what you get.
Yes.
For $18, right?
Yeah.
And the meat's great. You got the fries. I mean, it seems like a pretty good price for your restaurant.
Oh, it's a great price in general. If you go to a burger joint, I can spend $15 at Taco Bell right now.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Right now.
How about inflation? How about 2020 to now? How has that impacted the pricing you've had to do to figure out how to make a profit?
Let's just say sales have increased slightly and profits have gone down quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, well, we renegotiated the lease, which did go up. Insurance has gone up twice in 5 years, 24% each time. I mean, costs are going through the roof, but what do you got us this for? I don't think he's going to let us down with that. So
no,
we increased prices a couple of times, a couple dollars here and there, but
you have to.
Yeah,
there's no way
we have to keep the lights on,
right?
That's like we have the $8 double cheeseburger. Comes out on a white paper plate. You can get that in the corner bar. You can't get that in the dining room because the burger itself doesn't cover the white tablecloth in the dining room. So
is that on the menu somewhere?
No, that's one of those secret items you have to know about.
Okay, well, we're putting the secret out.
Yeah, it's okay.
You can walk in there and say,
you can get it at lunch, or you can get it after 8 in the bar. That way can have a nice old fashioned and a beautiful cheeseburger to go with it.
Yeah, I want to. And you call it a double
We call
double?
it the double double.
And
It's
that,
quarter bar cheeseburger, double double.
all right,
CB.
that's different from the 10 burger.
Correct. Same meat grind. It's just very simple burger.
You're
just a patty, a little mayo so that the grease from the burger doesn't absorb into the bun, a little American cheese, and then a top bun. Very simple.
I mean, I had one recently, and I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
And I don't eat hamburgers that often, right? Because I'm trying not to eat a bunch
healthy.
I try not to eat too much bread. Right. But you mentioned, an old fashioned, it seems like your bartenders have always been pretty top quality when I've been in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like able to make drinks in a way that, are not just.
Tanner and Meredith are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, again, consistent.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Do you play any role in, talking to them?
Well, we trained them from the beginning. With
like,
the
this is how we're going to approach people.
Yeah. Well, smile.
Yeah.
It's the most important part of your uniform. Right.
But I mean,
well, just be comfortable.
Some people are less, I mean, I'm a veteran of the bar game. I go in there, I know what I want. Right. Some people, that are maybe, they don't have as much fun as I do all the time. They go in there and they're not sure what they want. Right. And it's helpful that bartenders.
Tanner can guide you, he'll ask you what do you want, something sweet, something bitter, he'll get a feel for what you like. Then he'll make something, let you try it, see if that's the direction he wants you to go.
A lot of people like to drink wine, and they sometimes might think, well, there's no bottle of wine that I can afford at Prime 102. Is that true?
Yeah, plenty. You have plenty. I mean, I don't know that we have 40 bottles below $40, but I know we have at least a dozen below $40, $38, $39.
I mean, that's, red, white, you name
blush,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we can spend as much as you want. We have Sassicaiyas, we have high-end old world wines as well.
Are you optimistic based on, how the business is going, the medical school, the hotel, the construction being over, that this is going to be a successful endeavor over time? I mean, you're going to make it?
Yes. Very, very optimistic.
Even with the price.
It's not easy right now with all the construction going on downtown, but once we get through, like probably the end of 27, when the hotel opens and they're finished with the construction, it should be great.
What would you say?
Get to that point.
What would you say has hurt you most in your business about the construction?
Access.
Yeah, I know.
Access.
But I mean,
lunch is difficult.
That's what I mean
too. And then most guests don't realize we have our own parking lot behind the building.
Right.
So you can come in on Bodark and turn right into our parking lot. After 5, the arms are up and you can come in. At lunch, you can park across the street and get a voucher for that. But people don't realize we have our own parking lot behind it. So that's been the biggest obstacle, if you will.
Right. I mean, if people knew how easy it was, because the other thing you didn't mention that people really need to know is that you can park in that parking lot and walk right in the back door.
Right in the back door.
And right through the lobby up to the stairs. Right.
Or take the elevator if you need to.
But it's very easy. The lunch.
And you completely bypass all the construction going on down.
That's right. The lunch is probably what's been hurt the most, I guess.
Yeah, because we don't get the foot traffic because of the construction and the sidewalks. You can't really cross the street.
What have they told you about predictions on that out in front of you being completed?
Well, they said they started with our corner first so they could complete it first, which is great.
So that College
and Irwin
will
be the first corner completed. But it'll probably be another 3 months or so, I'm guessing, before that's done.
But I mean,
then I don't know how they're going to direct traffic when they still have the other corners to do.
I mean, I guess it'll have to be one way.
Yeah. Well, when they've completed, it's supposed to be 2 ways. But for now, it'll still have to be 1 way.
I mean, it's a big project down there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably long overdue.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be great when it's done. It's just getting to that point,
Because the courthouse is, I think it's slated now. They added an additional floor that they were going to renovate because maybe they were on budget.
Okay.
That's what I heard. And it was going to push it back maybe to December.
Yeah.
It was going to be fall of 2026. I think it's December. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Either way, Steve Barnhart, he's got to survive 1 more year. Is that?
Yes. Please.
Right. I mean, that's it.
Right.
I mean, if you can make it a year, and people will come out and support you and help you do that.
Well, support all of us downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the only restaurant down there. So yeah.
That's right. I mean,
that's the beautiful thing about downtown. We support each other. We mention each other. Come have a drink here, have a burger here, go see Chef Lance at Culture, go to Rick's, go over to, what's my Mexican food restaurant?
Don Juan's.
Don Juan's. I mean, just come see us.
What about Rick's? Did Rick's Has that sold?
I was told that he had, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't either. I just heard it was for sale and maybe it had sold to somebody.
Correct.
Because that's kind of a competing steakhouse, is it not? I don't know. Did they?
Different animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different stuff, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Your menu, let's talk about your menu just to give people kind of a sample and I can make my, my food review here today.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Now on the salads, you have, of course, the tried and true iceberg wedge salad.
Correct.
I mean,
that's blue cheese. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Bacon lardon, can't beat it. That's my favorite salad. Caesar's great, but the wedge is my favorite.
That was going to be my next question. What you like? You like the iceberg wedge as well?
Correct.
Now, on the appetizers or starters, I'm going to have to tell you my favorite is the tuna tartare.
Okay. Have you had the seared ahi tuna yet?
Did I have that last time?
I don't know if you did or not.
I don't know. Is that on this menu?
It may not be on that menu.
I don't think it's on this menu. I mean, Steve, you've got to get information out if you want people to enjoy it.
It's easier if they talk about it rather than just point it out on the menu. You know, we don't have a dessert menu. It's all verbal.
Look, last question on my thing is, hey, Steve, why don't you have dessert?
We have plenty of dessert.
Okay. All right. But I mean, this is the good part of the show is that we learn that one, you can ask questions like, hey, do y'all have anything off menu like a double burger?
Right. Yeah.
Do y'all have any desserts? Oh, sure we do.
Right.
But
hopefully they're verbalizing without you asking. Yes.
I had seared tuna last night at the Grove.
That was it. Great. I hope.
It was great.
Okay. Good.
I mean, I think their chef and their food is good. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't say that about some of the others, no names being mentioned here today.
We always try to take the high road.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's right. I'm trying. Your seafood. I don't know that I've ever delved into the seafood at your place. I guess when I went there, I wanted a steak.
Well, you should try some seafood.
Tell me what's impressive or what you have.
Well, we have
on the seafood front.
I would probably start with the appetizer, the 4-ounce jumbo lump crab cake with a little Cajun lobster cream sauce, baked, not fried, not your traditional crab cake. We call it the cakeless crab cake.
All right.
The salmon, best you can get.
Where do you source that salmon?
The salmon, it's Verlasso salmon. Comes out of cold waters of Chile. It's not a farm raised.
Are the waters cold in Chile?
Correct. Good. It's an aquaculture, so yeah, it's good for the environment and it's a great product.
It's not a farm raised salmon in a big pond.
No, and it comes in whole fish, beautiful. I call it the Gucci of salmon because it has the label on it and all that good stuff.
All right. Some people say sockeye salmon. I don't know what that is.
No, it's the Aura Kings of salmon. You want the good stuff.
Okay.
We have.
Is it orange?
Cold water.
Dark orange or light orange?
It's dark orange.
All right. Is that better? Do I like light orange?
If you get it in farm raised, it's probably got color added to it. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
We won't go there.
I'm getting fooled then. All right. So what else we got? You mentioned, do you source lobster tails in this restaurant?
We get lobster tails from the East Coast that we use for the angry lobster and our lobster mac and cheese. And then we get cold water Western Australian lobster tails for the large lobster tails.
Now, I don't know that I've ever seen a raw oyster in your place, have I?
No, we don't do raw oysters.
I mean, there's that whole
we
food.
have fried oysters in the corner bar.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
That whole food allergy thing, right?
Right.
And then if it doesn't have an R in the month kind of thing.
Oysters.
I mean, because one of my favorites is S&D Oyster Company.
And on McKinney.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I love oysters.
Only when it's cold outside, though. What about a soup? You got a soup that you think is worth mentioning?
I do the chowder or the tomato bisque.
I mean,
either one, they're both great.
When I think bisque, I think creamy.
Well,
I better go chowder.
Come on, go chowder.
Okay, I'll go chowder.
Go creamy to chowder.
All right. Now here's the sleeper, in my opinion. The thing I didn't know was on the menu, and I felt bad for you when I saw the police that the lunch crowd was getting hurt. So I came on down about a month ago, remember?
Okay.
And I've been back 3 times since.
Right.
And the waiter, he said, hey, this prime wrap is a favorite of ours. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? Because I usually avoid the bread. So I usually don't even look there. I'm getting a salmon.
Right.
And I thought the prime wrap
the ribeye in it
was the best thing I'd ever had, like a sandwich type wrap.
Well, if you like the wedge, you got the lettuce in there with the blue cheese crumbles and the ribeye steak, so can't go wrong.
But there's no creamy dressing. It's like it's like an olive oil,
kind of like a vinaigrette.
Yes,
yeah.
And the prime rib taste with that, I just think that's
I'm glad you found something you like.
I do. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm not a food person.
Right.
I don't know if,
You don't consider yourself a foodie?
I only eat because I'm getting a headache. Right? I mean, like, I feel like I got to eat, man. I'm getting grouchy.
You work
Just
too
like when
hard.
those kids were in there. I hadn't eaten. I couldn't get any service
You were
back then at your
hangry.
place.
Hangry. That's it.
I was, man. I mean, I was waiting on a drink. I hadn't had anything to eat. And then these kids are screaming their head off.
Come in and bring you a double cheeseburger.
I've never heard anybody get the chicken stroganoff, but it sounds interesting.
Oh, yeah. Lunch only.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Pappardelle noodle.
You've got the full array of steaks, I've noticed. I mean, you've got an 8 or a 12 ounce for the big eater, right?
And the medallion for the composed dish with the potatoes.
What would you say was the most popular steak that's ordered and bought at your place?
Filet by far.
Okay. Is that because people's natural inclination?
It's the most lean, tender cut of meat you can get.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a ribeye guy. I like the flavor,
Right, because ribeye is really marbled with fat and it produces flavor.
Right.
That's why people like it.
Yeah.
How would you describe a New York strip? Is that kind of in between a filet and in between a ribeye?
That's the steak eater steak. You get a prime strip that's got the beautiful marbling in it. Can't go wrong. It's not going to be as tender as a filet.
Right.
And it's not going to be as fatty as a ribeye. Right. It's kind of the happy medium.
That's what I've been told.
Another one that's not on the menu that we do in the bars at Au Poivre, which is the strip.
Please don't tell me that's in a bag.
No, no. It's a 7-ounce strip that we pepper crust, serve with Au Poivre sauce and French fries.
In Tyler, that would be all poo or something sauce. It wouldn't be,
Correct, yeah. I had a guest one time complain that their filet Au Poivre was too peppery. Then I had to explain that the Au Poivre was the peppers. Well, yeah. It's okay. We didn't educate the guests properly.
I'm sure you did it with, a smile and kindness.
We hope so.
And they were happy about it. I mean, anytime it says 45-day dry age, 30-day dry age, what is that telling people about, the steak or why they'd want to order it?
Dry age is the old traditional way of aging steaks, where you've seen the Rocky movie where they're beating up the steaks, hanging up in the lockers.
Mm-hmm.
That's dry aging.
That's what they're doing.
Most steaks that you get are what you call wet aged, which are cryovac, where it's sealed so it doesn't have any opportunity to have bacteria or whatever.
Like you see at a grocery store when it's sealed into plastic?
Correct. Yeah. So dry aging is the old world method of aging steaks. So it gives it more of a, some people call it a umami funk. You like blue cheese, right?
Yeah, I mean,
blue cheese smells like dirty feet, but tastes good. Makes no sense, right?
I mean, it has a funky taste sometimes.
Yeah, it tastes good.
But I mean, I'm wanting to know, where I'm going to go down at your place and work the meat locker.
You talk about.
Do you have one?
No, I'd love to someday. Well, that's another thing Purely does for us. They age our steaks.
Okay, that's how you get them aged.
Yeah,
all right,
correct.
Now
we talk about steaks. Let's talk about guests. Something that we could do better is educate the guest that comes in and orders a dry-aged steak. They may not be used to the flavor profile of a dry-aged steak.
And be disappointed.
Correct, because it's not for your average. I mean, you need to know it. It's kind of like if you go for a drink for the first time. You didn't go order a scotch or a whiskey. You probably had a Bartles and James, something sweet.
Tastes like
right?
peat moss.
Right, correct. So you got to kind of work your way into that. It's kind of I don't want to say it's smacking the face, but it's a completely different flavor profile as a wet aged steak.
Just like, mezcal and old fashions, I'm not a huge smoky flavor.
Right.
And people, if they didn't know,
it's a much more intense flavor profile.
They'd go like, man, this sure is smoky.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got something for everybody. I mean, I'm looking over here at the cauliflower steak. I guess that's kind of a vegetarian option.
Yeah. And we'll also do vegetarian pastas. We have a full kitchen with some great talent back there. We can make whatever you need.
But I mean, if somebody shows up and go, look, my daughter's this way, she'll eat some fish, but for whatever reason, she doesn't want to eat meat. Okay.
Right.
And if somebody showed up and said, I'd like to have a vegetarian option, what options would they be presented with by the server?
Well, besides the cauliflower steak, like I said, we do a pasta primavera with vegetables. We could do sauteed spinach. I mean, we can create a plate for them with vegetarian.
All right.
Or with pasta as well.
You've got a good array of sides, and steakhouses always have sides, right? I mean, you order and then you buy your sides by the side, right?
Shareable, right? Family style.
Right. They're usually, and so people don't know, when they order, say, lobster mac and cheese, it's not going to be just a little old bitty one.
It'll feed 4 people.
All right.
Correct.
What about the lobster mac and cheese? Is that
It's
one of the favorites?
Yummy, delicious. Yeah.
Um,
Most of them have the full knuckle lobster claw on top of it. So yeah.
and that's part of, treating people well, right? I mean, the Brussels sprouts, I kind of like those because,
It's healthy. It's
I
a
feel like
green
it's
vegetable.
healthy. But sometimes I admit I have to get the French fries.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned something earlier, you know, and I'm sure you probably ask yourself this sometime, tell us what you think you do good as a restaurant and tell us what you think, that you could do better to make it a better experience for people at Prime 102.
Mm,
What do you think you do good, see? I mean, in the way you run your business, in the way that it's going now.
well, hope we show people that we actually care. I mean, when you walk in the door, you'll see Perry with a smile on her face coming
You
up
will?
the stairs. Your servers want, like I say, we do things for you, not to you.
I thought
So
she
we
was
get
just
to-
smiling at me like I was kind of a VIP,
No, you are.
coming
No,
in.
that's the whole
I mean,
thing.
I didn't know she was smiling at
You ever go to
everybody
a
else.
restaurant and say, hey, that's a VIP over there? Guess what? You're all VIPs. Everybody comes in.
Right. I mean, I
that's
feel
how
like,
you're supposed to
hey,
do it.
uh,
And hopefully we put out a consistent product all the time. One of the most, I've worked in many restaurants, right?
right.
The most difficult thing to get out consistently in a timely fashion is a French fry, because the other food will come up and you want to send it out nice and hot and fresh, and you're still waiting on the French fry. 'Cause
But
the
you've
French
got
fries
a
have to be
warming light or
perfect.
something, don't
No,
you?
we don't have warming lights. We don't have heat. No,
I
we don't
thought you-
have a microwave.
I
we don't
saw a
have,
microwave back
Let me
in the back of
explain
your
three
place.
things I got rid of when we took over: is a microwave, a sous vide, and the warming lights. We got rid of those.
All right, sorry, man.
Correct.
I mean, this isn't Mel's Diner, right?
Yeah. So no, it has to be hot and fresh and go out that way.
I mean,
So-
do you think, like you mentioned, communication at a restaurant? I mean, a great communicator could be a great server. Like
Right.
they could explain, they could
Well,
pick
you
up.
want to paint you a picture. Not you can read what's on the menu, but paint me a picture and tell me why it's your favorite and what you like about it.
Yeah, and if
Well,
it
be
sounds
honest.
like,
When I was a server, the guests would say, "How's the salmon?" I'll say, "We sell a lot of it. I don't like salmon."
yeah,
Just be honest.
right. Because I mean, sometimes you feel like you go to a restaurant and these people are just saying stuff about
They want to sell you the most expensive item
right,
on the
like,
menu.
I think this is paired well with a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Of
I'm
course
like,
it
really?
is. Wasn't everything? Give me an In-N-Out burger and a bottle of Dom.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because at the liquor store, Dom Perignon is $300,
$100,
right?
yeah.
And so at the restaurant,
Probably at least $450, if not $600.
that's right. I mean, I'm happy. You're happy, and I mean that in a good way because I want your restaurant to be here because I love it so
Well,
much.
thank you.
Imagine if we didn't have Prime 102. Imagine if we didn't have a couple other restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be left with a lot of chains.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we have a lot of restaurants that you don't have to drive to Dallas or Austin or wherever.
Shreveport.
Right. You can stay in Tyler, Texas, and get a great dining experience.
Because if people are listening to this, I mean, Shreveport obviously has some good places,
Mhm.
Bossier City as well,
Right.
and then Dallas, right?
Right.
And maybe if you want to travel to Three Forks,
Yeah.
that's out there. Where's that?
It's on Dallas on the tollway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there used to be one Leroy Jordan, a old cowboy hat.
Oh, that's Four Winds.
Four Winds.
That's Dale's nephew.
Is
Frank
that still
Memorial.
out there?
Oh yeah.
All
Does
right.
a
I've
great
been
job
there
as
one
well.
time.
Yeah.
But I mean, for around us, I mean, your steakhouse kind of stands alone like one of those, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Is that what you were going for?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
We hope to exceed theirs, but yes.
but I mean,
that's the
right,
goal.
you come from a big steakhouse,
Right.
background, and you're looking around and you're seeing Tyler really didn't have.
That's correct. I didn't think it had one. I thought it needed one. You know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you about Tyler. I love the community, and Tyler is very conservative.
Very.
And Tyler is the only restaurant town that I've been in where you have a steakhouse and you don't have the male ego like you do in the big city, Dallas, New York, where you see a big lobster tail go by and you want to have one, or you see a very expensive bottle of wine and you try to one up them. You don't have that ego here.
Yeah, give me one of those, would you?
Which is great to be a part of. Not necessarily great for business, but it's a completely different atmosphere, and it's nice to be a part of. When you go from being in Dallas and New York and Frisco, and then you find a home like Tyler, which is what I call it. It is home. It's much more of a sense of community here.
Some
I
people,
mean, you come through the restaurant on a Friday, Saturday night. How many tables do you go by and talk to?
I mean,
Everybody knows each other.
yeah, a lot of people do, and
And you see people praying at the table before they have dinner.
That's
you know?
right.
And we break bread. We don't cut bread. We break bread. That's what it's all about.
do you see a lot of the same people? Do you have a lot of repeat customers, people that really love the restaurant?
Yeah. A lot.
Well, I can certainly see why. Like I said, I always thought it'd be cool in my mind. My wife corrected me that I could have a bar or I could have a restaurant, or whatever. Let's call it "Don't Get Hurt Twice," bar and grill.
Right.
And she always tells me it's a lot harder than it looks.
It's not for everyone, not for the weak at heart.
But man,
it's fun. I love it. I always say it's either an addiction, a genetic flaw, or some sickness. But yeah, I love it.
Well, the podcast East Texas Unfiltered is about people that live here, people that are from here, people that are part of the community, if you will. And certainly you're a big part of that now. And we're glad to have you. And I appreciate you coming on the show today, Steve. Steve Barnhart, Prime 102.
Come see us.
Yeah.